but can I truly trust you?
With Gorth by my side and you guiding me, I'll do everything to earn
The
your
forest
trust.
of Zephyra was alive with strange sounds. Thick, twisted trees reached toward the sky, their leaves shimmering in colors Ethan had never seen on Earth. He moved carefully, stepping over glowing moss and strange vines. Something deep in the forest had called him here. Something in pain. Ethan froze. Ahead, he saw a massive shadow. A low growl rumbled through the air. He held his breath. Then he saw it, an enormous creature, at least 3 times the size of a human. Its skin was silver blue, glinting under the strange sunlight. But it was trapped. A high-tech bear trap clamped onto its leg, wires and glowing energy lines holding it tight. The alien struggled, letting out a sound that was part roar, part whine. Ethan's heart raced. One step closer, and the creature could crush him in an instant. One step back, and it might die alone in the trap. He knew he had to act. Slowly, he pulled out his toolkit from his pack, hands shaking just a little. "This is crazy," he whispered to himself. "But I can't leave it like this." He examined the trap. It was alien technology, advanced and dangerous. Sparks flew as he touched the wires. One wrong move and the trap could explode. He worked carefully, cutting through energy lines and unlocking the metallic jaws. The creature thrashed violently, but he stayed calm, talking softly. "Easy. I'm not here to hurt you," Ethan said. "I just want to help." Minutes felt like hours. Sweat ran down his face as he dodged snapping metal and flying sparks. Then, finally, the trap clicked open. The alien stumbled, falling forward but free at last. Its large golden eyes locked on Ethan. For a moment, Ethan feared it would attack. Instead, the alien did something unexpected. It lowered its massive head, letting out a low, almost mournful sound. Then, it extended one enormous hand, brushing it lightly against Ethan's shoulder. It was a gesture of thanks, or maybe a warning. Ethan couldn't tell. Suddenly, the alien's eyes flicked toward the forest. Shadows moved among the trees, larger, faster, and darker. Ethan realized with a jolt, the trap might have been a lure. Something else was hunting the creature. He grabbed his communicator. "I need backup," he whispered, but the device crackled with static. He was alone. The alien moved closer, towering over him. Its breath was warm, almost human, but filled with an unfamiliar scent. Ethan noticed small scars along its body, signs of many battles. This wasn't just a wild creature. It was intelligent, strong, and dangerous. Ethan swallowed hard. "We need to get out of here." "Now," he said. He started leading the alien through the forest, careful not to panic. The trees seemed to close in around them. Every snap of a branch, every rustle in the leaves made Ethan jump. Then, as they reached a clearing, the alien stopped. It raised its head and roared, not angrily, but like a warning. From the shadows, shapes moved. Ethan's heart pounded. Whatever had trapped this creature was still out there, watching. The alien stepped in front of him, its massive body shielding him. Ethan realized something. He had just formed a bond with a being far stronger than himself. A bond that might save both their lives or get them killed. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt truly small. And yet, strangely, he also felt ready. Whatever came next, he would face it. With the alien by his side, the forest seemed less frightening, but the danger had only just begun. The creature's eyes glowed in the twilight as it let out a low, deep sound. Ethan shivered. This was just the beginning. Ethan returned to the small research outpost he had built near the edge of the alien forest. He thought he was alone, safe. But he was wrong. The next morning, a shadow moved at the edge of the trees. Ethan froze. The ground shook slightly with each step. The trees whispered in the wind, but something heavier was coming. And then he saw it. Gorth, the giant alien he had freed from the bear trap, was following him. Its enormous silver blue body shimmered under the rising sun. Ethan's heart raced. He had no idea why Goreth had followed him. Was it friendly, or had it come to punish him for something he didn't understand? "Easy, easy," Ethan whispered, holding up his hands. "I'm not going to hurt you." Goreth stopped a few meters away and lowered its massive head. It stared at him, its golden eyes calm now, almost intelligent. It seemed to understand him. Slowly, it sat down, the ground shaking beneath its weight. Ethan's first thought was panic. Villagers in the alien village nearby had never seen a human and a giant alien together. The stories would be terrifying to them. He couldn't risk anyone seeing Goreth like this, but before he could move, Goreth made a sound, a low, melodic rumble. Ethan didn't understand the language, but the tone was soft, almost reassuring. The creature was not hostile. It was protective. Ethan took a cautious step closer. "I don't know why you're here," he said, "but we need to stay hidden. The villagers, they won't understand." Goreth tilted its head, watching him carefully. Then it did something unexpected. It lowered its enormous body onto its stomach and gestured, with one massive claw, toward the village. It wanted him to follow. Fear and curiosity warred inside Ethan. Following Goreth could be dangerous. What if the villagers attacked them? What if the alien misunderstood him? And yet, he felt a strange pull. Something told him that this bond with Goreth was important. More important than he could yet understand. Slowly, Ethan followed the alien through the dense forest. Leaves brushed his face, and strange insects buzzed around them. Every step was tense. Ethan kept thinking about the bear trap. Who had set it? Why? And was that danger still out there, somewhere in the forest? When they reached the village, Ethan's fears became reality. The villagers ran to meet them, shouting in alarm. Women and children hid behind buildings, while men grabbed whatever weapons they could. Goreth rose to its full height, towering over everyone, and let out a low, commanding roar. The villagers froze. Ethan held his hands up. "Wait, please," he shouted. It's with me. It won't hurt anyone." For a moment, nothing moved. The alien's golden eyes swept across the crowd, calm and almost regal. Then it knelt again, lowering itself to the ground. Its gesture seemed to say, "I mean no harm." Ethan realized something. Goreth wasn't just a creature. It was intelligent, loyal, and somehow, it had chosen to trust him. The chief of the village, a tall figure with sharp features and piercing eyes, stepped forward. He stared at Goreth and then at Ethan. "Who are you?" he demanded, his voice echoing through the village square. Ethan swallowed hard. He had no simple answer. "I'm a human. I came here to study your world." And I helped him. The alien. It was trapped. I saved it. The chief's eyes narrowed. The villagers murmured nervously. Something in the chief's gaze made Ethan uneasy. He had a feeling that this simple act of kindness, saving Goreth, was about to change everything. And indeed, it would. Goreth's golden eyes met Ethan's. The alien made a soft rumble, as if saying, "You are part of this now. There is no turning back." Ethan shivered. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was certain. His life on Zifra would never be the same again. The sun had climbed high over the village, but the tension was thick in the air. Villagers whispered behind closed doors, throwing nervous glances at Ethan and the massive alien, Goreth. Even the birds seemed to avoid the clearing. Ethan tried to stay calm. "It's okay," he said softly, looking at Goreth. "Just stay calm." The alien lowered its head slightly, as if it understood. Then the chief appeared. His presence was commanding, tall, with sharp features and piercing eyes that seemed to see straight into Ethan's mind. He walked slowly toward Ethan, flanked by 2 guards. The villagers parted like water before him. "Human," the chief said, his voice cold and sharp. "Explain yourself." Why is this? Beast in our village? Ethan swallowed hard. I saved him, he stammered. He was trapped in the forest. Something set a trap for him. I couldn't leave him there. He didn't mean any harm. The chief's eyes narrowed. You touch our lands, our creatures, without permission. You break the laws of Zifra. His gaze shifted to Gorath. And you bring him here, uninvited. Do you understand what you risked? Ethan shook his head. I didn't mean to. You risked war, the chief interrupted. You risked lives. The villagers murmured nervously. Some looked at Ethan with fear, others with curiosity. Gorath's massive body remained still, but its golden eyes glowed faintly, almost like fire. The alien's loyalty to Ethan was clear, but it also radiated a power the villagers feared. Ethan took a deep breath. I only wanted to help. I didn't know it would cause this much trouble. Please believe me. The chief's lips tightened. He studied Ethan carefully, weighing his words. Then he spoke in a slower, more deliberate tone. You are bold and foolish, but perhaps there is a reason this human survived. Gorath does not make mistakes. The villagers gasped. Some whispered, the beast. Trusts him? Others shook their heads in disbelief. Ethan felt a mixture of relief and unease. Gorath had saved him in the forest, and now it seemed the alien's trust was slowly earning respect from the villagers. But the chief was still wary, and Ethan could feel the weight of suspicion in every glance. Why are you here? The chief asked again, softer this time. Why did Gorath follow you? Ethan hesitated. I don't know, he admitted. I think. Maybe he senses something. Maybe. We are connected somehow. I just want to keep him safe. The chief's eyes flicked to Gorath, then back to Ethan. Connection. You speak of something dangerous. He paused, then leaned closer. But it may be useful. Ethan frowned. Useful? What do you mean? The chief straightened, his gaze sharp and commanding. If you survive here, human, it will not be because of luck. You may have a role to play, one that none of our people have dared to attempt. But first, he looked at Gorath, then back to Ethan. You must prove your loyalty. Only then will you be accepted. Ethan nodded slowly, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was no longer a simple rescue mission. The fate of the village, and perhaps more, was now intertwined with him and the alien he had saved. Gorath rumbled softly, as if agreeing. Ethan glanced at the creature, realizing that this bond would guide him through the trials ahead. The forest, the trap, and the unknown dangers had led him here, but nothing could have prepared him for what was coming next. And Ethan knew one thing for certain: in this alien world, trust was the most dangerous weapon of all. The next morning, Ethan was summoned to the chief's large, circular hall. The walls shimmered with strange alien symbols, glowing faintly in the dim light. Gorath followed silently, its massive form casting long shadows that danced on the walls. Ethan's heart pounded. He had no idea what the chief wanted, but the tension in the air made it clear. This was serious. The chief sat on a raised platform, flanked by his advisors. His piercing eyes fixed on Ethan. The villagers had gathered outside, watching silently. Human, the chief began, his voice echoing through the hall. You have shown courage in the forest. You have gained the trust of Gorath. Yet, courage alone is not enough to survive here. Ethan swallowed hard. I understand. I just want to do what's right. The chief nodded slowly. Then he leaned forward, and Ethan felt the weight of his gaze. You are no ordinary human. You have a rare spirit, one that may bind our people and Gorath together. And because of this, I make a demand. Ethan blinked, unsure what to say. A demand? The chief's expression was serious, almost ceremonial. You will marry my daughter. For a moment, Ethan froze. His mind raced. Marry the chief's daughter? Here, on an alien planet? This was not something he had ever imagined. The hall was silent. Gorath's golden eyes flicked between Ethan and the chief, calm but attentive. The alien seemed to understand the gravity of the moment, yet it made no move to interfere. I don't know what to say, Ethan stammered. I can't just... The chief raised a hand. You will say nothing yet. This is not a simple request. This is an honor. It is a bond of trust, loyalty, and survival. If you accept, you will be protected, and Gorath will remain by your side. Ethan glanced at Gorath. The massive creature let out a low, comforting rumble, almost urging him to consider the chief's words carefully. But, I'm human, Ethan said softly. I don't know your customs. I don't even know her. That is not your concern, the chief replied firmly. Your concern is loyalty. And loyalty binds more than just hearts, it binds worlds. You will learn. You will adapt, or you will leave. And then you will face the forest alone, and Gorath may not follow. Ethan's mind spun. The choice was clear, but terrifying. Accept the demand, and he would be tied to this alien culture, to Gorath, to the chief's daughter, perhaps forever. Refuse, and he risked losing Gorath's protection. Facing unknown dangers in the forest, maybe even death, he looked at Gorath again. The alien lowered its massive head, watching him with golden, intelligent eyes. Ethan understood. His bond with Gorath was now inseparable from the chief's decision. He swallowed hard, nodding slowly. I will do it. I will. Learn your ways. The chief's lips curved slightly. Wise, courage, and wisdom. Rare in your kind. Prepare yourself, human. This is only the beginning. Many challenges lie ahead, and your loyalty will be tested beyond anything you have faced in the forest. Ethan exhaled, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The decision had been made, but his journey was just beginning. Gorath rumbled softly, almost as if approving the choice. Ethan placed a hand on the alien's massive arm. Together, they would face whatever came next. Alien customs, political tensions, and dangers lurking both inside and outside the village. And deep inside, Ethan realized something important. In this alien world, trust and courage were more powerful than any weapon. The day of the ceremony arrived. Ethan woke early, nervous and unsure. The village was alive with preparation. Brightly glowing banners hung between alien trees, and the air was filled with soft melodic chants he had never heard before. Gorath stood silently nearby, its massive body protective. Watching over him, Ethan was guided to a chamber filled with strange artifacts. He could feel the weight of centuries of tradition in the air. The chief's daughter appeared, her eyes calm and piercing. She did not speak, but her gaze seemed to measure Ethan, testing his resolve. Follow the rituals exactly, a village elder instructed. Any mistake could insult the ancestors and bring disaster. Ethan nodded, trying to hide his fear. He watched as the ceremony began. The chief led him to a glowing platform, and the daughter placed her hand on a crystal that hummed softly. Ethan mirrored her actions, feeling a strange energy pulse through him. Then, the first trial began, a test of courage. Ethan had to walk across a narrow path suspended over a glowing chasm. The floor shifted slightly under his weight, and glowing tendrils rose from the sides, threatening to knock him off balance. His heart raced, but Gorath's eyes never left him. The alien stood close enough to catch him if he fell. Step by step, Ethan crossed the path. Every nerve in his body screamed with tension, but he focused on the golden eyes of Gorath and the calm hand of the chief's daughter. Finally, he reached the other side, trembling but victorious. The villagers cheered softly. Ethan exhaled, feeling a wave of relief wash over him. But before he could rest, The ground shook violently. From the forest edge, shadows moved dark, fast, and menacing. Another clan, rivals to the chief, had arrived unexpectedly. Chaos erupted. The villagers panicked. Weapons, strange and alien, were drawn. Ethan froze, unsure of what to do. Then Goroth moved. With incredible speed and strength, the alien leapt between Ethan and the attackers. Its roar shook the trees, and the rival clan hesitated, unsure if they wanted to challenge such power. Ethan realized something. This bond with Goroth was not just survival. It was trust, courage, and respect. Together, they could face danger that no human alone could survive. The rival clan retreated, but the warning was clear. The village was not safe, and threats were only growing. Ethan felt the weight of the chief's demand and the responsibility of his new role pressing down on him. He was no longer an outsider. He was a part of this world, tied to its creatures, its people, and its dangers. The chief's daughter placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder, her gaze steady. He understood her silently conveyed message. "You have passed today, but this is only the beginning." Goroth rumbled softly, as if agreeing. Ethan nodded. He had survived the trials, but the forest and its secrets, the politics of the village, and the mysteries of Goroth were far from over. The ceremony ended with the villagers singing and dancing in soft glowing light. But Ethan's mind was already racing. He knew that survival in this alien world required courage, quick thinking, and loyalty like he had never experienced before. And deep inside, he felt something new, a sense of belonging. For the first time, he understood that he was no longer just a visitor. He was a part of Zephyra, for better or worse. The forest outside whispered secrets he could not yet understand. But Ethan knew one thing: with Goroth by his side, he was ready to face whatever came next. The village slowly returned to normal after the ceremony and the sudden attack. Villagers were cautious, but their eyes no longer held fear toward Ethan. They had seen his courage, his respect for their customs, and his bond with Goroth. Slowly, trust began to form. Ethan walked through the village with Goroth by his side. Children peeked from behind alien trees, fascinated by the giant alien's shimmering silver-blue skin. Villagers nodded politely, some even offering small gifts, glowing fruits, delicate tools, and embroidered fabrics. Ethan accepted each with a smile, trying to show respect. The chief's daughter approached him quietly, away from the crowd. "You handled the trials well," she said softly. Her voice was calm but firm. "You earned our respect." Ethan nodded. "I couldn't have done it without Goroth. He saved me more than once today." The daughter's lips curved slightly. "He trusts you. That is rare. Few humans earn such trust, even among us." Ethan looked down at Goroth, who rumbled softly, as if acknowledging her words. He realized something important. In this alien world, loyalty and courage mattered more than strength alone. And Goroth had chosen to trust him, no matter the danger. Over the next few days, Ethan learned more about the village. He studied their customs, helped with daily tasks, and observed Goroth closely. He began to understand the silent communication between the alien and the villagers' gestures. Glances, even subtle changes in posture conveyed meaning. One evening, as the twin suns set over Zephyra, Ethan sat with the chief's daughter by a glowing stream. The village hummed softly around them. She spoke of the history of her people, of the forest, and of Goroth's past battles. "You have adapted quickly," she said. "Humans rarely last long here. You are different." Ethan smiled faintly. "I've had a good teacher," he said, glancing at Goroth. The alien stood nearby, watching them. "It's present." A sudden noise from the forest made them both tense. Shadows moved among the trees, larger, darker shapes that did not belong. Ethan's heart raced. Whatever had set the bear trap, whatever rival clan had attacked during the ceremony, It was still out there. Something bigger was coming. Goroth growled low, a sound that vibrated through the ground. Ethan felt the warning in his bones. The forest was alive with dangers, and the village, though safe for now, was not immune. The chief's daughter placed a hand on his arm. "You are part of this now," she said softly. "We face what comes together." Ethan nodded. He realized that he had formed a bond not just with Goroth, but with the people of the village. Trust had been earned, but loyalty would be tested. That night, as he lay under the alien stars, Ethan thought about the journey ahead. He had survived traps, trials, and attacks. He had earned the trust of Goroth and the villagers. But something told him that these challenges were only the beginning. The forest whispered secrets he could not yet understand. Distant roars echoed, hinting at dangers beyond the village. Ethan tightened his grip on his tools, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was no longer a visitor, he was a part of HFY, and with Goroth by his side, he felt ready to face the unknown. But deep in his mind, a question lingered. What awaited them beyond the forest, and was the village truly safe? The suns dipped below the horizon, and shadows stretched across the village. Ethan knew one thing for certain. The next challenge would test every skill, every bond, and every ounce of courage he had. The village was calm under the twin moons of Zifora, but Ethan knew peace was only temporary. The trials, the ceremonies, and the attacks had shown him that danger always lurked nearby. Yet, he felt a strange confidence. He was no longer a stranger, he was part of this world. Goroth stood beside him, towering and powerful. The alien's golden eyes scanned the forest, alert to every movement. Ethan realized how much he had learned from Goroth, how to read subtle signals, understand the language of gestures, and feel the tension in the air before danger arrived. The chief approached, his expression serious but approving. "You have proven your loyalty and courage," he said. "You are part of this village now, human. Your bond with Goroth has bridged what many could not. You will be needed in times to come." Ethan nodded, glancing at the chief's daughter. Her eyes held respect and something softer, a silent understanding that he had earned his place here. He realized that he was no longer just surviving. He was building connections, alliances, and trust that could shape the future of ZYPHOR. As the villagers celebrated quietly around them, Ethan noticed movement in the sky. A shadow stretched across the twin moons, massive and foreboding. He squinted upward, and his heart skipped a beat. A fleet of enormous alien ships descended, dark silhouettes against the glowing sky. Goroth growled low, a sound that vibrated through the ground. Ethan felt the same warning in his chest. This was no ordinary threat. These ships carried beings far stronger and more dangerous than the rival clan or forest predators. The chief's expression darkened. "They are coming," he said quietly. "The ones who were never seen. Until now." Ethan's mind raced. He glanced at Goroth, who bared its teeth slightly, ready for battle. The alien had chosen him, and now they would face this together. For the first time, Ethan felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. He was about to be tested on a scale larger than he had ever imagined. The villagers gathered weapons and prepared defenses. But Ethan noticed something crucial. The fear in the air was not complete. There was trust in Goroth, trust in the chief, and now trust in him. He realized that humans could matter here, that courage and loyalty could turn the tide against overwhelming odds. Ethan's thoughts went to the future. This was only the beginning. He would face dangers from the forest, rival clans, and now an alien fleet of unknown strength. But he was not alone. Goroth, the chief, and even the villagers depended on him. And for the first time, he truly understood the meaning of being human in a vast, alien universe, to survive, to protect, and to inspire courage. The fleet drew closer, the sky darkening with their presence. Ethan gripped his tools tightly, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of adventure. Beside him, Gorath rumbled, a sound of readiness and power. Ethan took a deep breath, looking at the village that had become his home. The forest whispered around them, shadows stretching into the night. He knew one thing for certain: the adventures, the challenges, and the mysteries of Zephyra were only beginning. And as the alien ships cast enormous shadows over the village, Ethan stepped forward, ready to face the unknown. Together with Gorath, he would fight, survive, and prove that even a single human could make a difference in a world full of giants. The suns had set. The moons glowed. And the story of courage, trust, and adventure was just beginning. The night sky of Zephyra shook with a deep humming sound. Ethan stood on the village cliff, staring at the massive alien fleet coming closer. Their ships were dark, sharp, and shaped like blades cutting through the clouds. Even from far away, their presence felt heavy, like the air itself was being pushed down. Gorath walked up beside him, towering like a shield. The giant alien was tense, muscles tight, eyes glowing faint gold. For the first time since Ethan met him, Gorath looked worried. That scared Ethan more than the ships. Behind them, the villagers gathered: warriors, elders, even children. The chief stood with his staff planted firmly in the ground, as if holding the whole village together with sheer will. "They are not here to talk," the chief said quietly. His voice held centuries of fear. Gorath growled low in agreement. Ethan felt a shiver crawl up his spine. He had faced traps, beasts, rival tribes, and brutal trials. But this was different. This was war coming from the sky. A sudden light flashed across the clouds as one of the ships broke formation and descended. It landed in the forest with a heavy crash that sent shockwaves through the ground. Birds fled. Trees shook. Dust rose high. Ethan steadied himself. "Who are they?" he asked. The chief looked at him. "The Drakethul, a war race. They take worlds, cities, even people." Ethan's heart thumped harder. "Why here?" "They want Gorath," the chief said, "and anyone who stands with him." Ethan turned toward the giant alien. Gorath did not move. His jaw tightened and his fists curled. "What did you do?" Ethan whispered. Gorath didn't speak. Instead, he slowly knelt so the human could see his eyes clearly. In those golden eyes, Ethan saw fear, loyalty, and guilt. The chief stepped closer. Long ago, Gorath escaped from them. He was once forced to fight for their army. He refused. He ran. We hid him. He paused. And now they come to take him back. Ethan felt the ground shift beneath him. Everything suddenly made sense. The trap in the forest, the rival clan's fear, the chief's ceremonies, the trials. It was all preparing the village for this day. "We won't hand him over," Ethan said firmly. The chief nodded, proud, but Gorath looked away. Before Ethan could ask more, a sharp metallic scream echoed through the forest. The Drakethul had deployed scouting drones. Sleek black machines rose from the trees, scanning with red lights that sliced through the night. Like lasers, one drone turned toward the cliff, its red eye locked on Ethan. He froze. Then, Gorath moved faster than Ethan had ever seen. The giant alien swung his massive arm, smashing the drone midair with a loud crack. Sparks exploded. The broken machine fell off the cliff. More drones rose instantly, swarming. "Back to the village," the chief ordered. War horns sounded. Warriors rushed. Shields lifted. Arrows aimed. Gorath grabbed Ethan's arm and pulled him into cover behind a rock as red beams cut through the air. Ethan breathed hard. "We're not ready for this." Gorath rumbled a single word: "Together." Ethan nodded. Together. The sky lit up as the first Drakethul dropship descended straight toward the village. Its metal doors opened slowly. revealing tall armored figures inside shining black helmets, glowing red patterns, and heavy weapons humming with energy. The villagers braced for impact. Ethan looked at Gorath. Gorath looked at him. This wasn't just a fight for survival. This was a fight for a friend. The ground shook as the Drakethul warriors stepped out. Ethan tightened his grip on the spear he never wanted to use. Here they come, he whispered. The battle for Zephyra had finally begun.